In this second video on the Columbian Exchange, we'll look at some of the products that went from America to Europe. And obviously, you got to start off with tobacco, which became a big hit in Europe. Columbus saw Indians smoking pipes and cigars and reported back to the King and Queen of Spain that they had a, quote, firebrand in the hand and herbs to drink the smoke thereof. King James I of England at first hated tobacco. He called it harmful to the brain and dangerous to the lungs. But in time, of course, he came to love it when he saw the wealth that it brought him. As we'll see in our next topic, smoking tobacco became a rage in Europe when they learned how to cure it, and they also had snuff, and so that ended up being the first cash staple crop brought back to Europe in large quantities. One of the most important animals that was brought to Europe from America was the turkey. The turkey was indigenous to America. As a matter of fact, Benjamin Franklin later on proposed to have the turkey being the a symbol of America. It became the bald eagle. But anyway, besides the turkey, pheasants were brought back to Europe, which then became a popular bird for game hunting among the wealthy Europeans. Alpacas were indigenous from South America, and they were brought to Europe, but they never really caught on because of the dominance of sheep. The sheep could provide the wool. You didn't need the alpaca. Some of the stowaways back on these boats going back to Europe were the gray squirrel. You can see it on the left here, and the muscat on the right. They made it to Europe, as I say, by stowing away aboard these boats. Besides tobacco, a major plant was coca. Chocolate became a rage in time throughout Europe. It didn't catch on because it was just too expensive, but everybody loved it. And when the supply grew later on, chocolate was a huge hit in Europe and around the world. Tomatoes were indigenous to America, and they were brought back to Europe and became a very important part of European diets. Imagine Italian food without pasta and tomatoes. Some of the plants that came from America to Europe, you can see here going left to right from the top row, but peppers and corn and pumpkins and potatoes. Potatoes became a huge crop for Europe. If you think of all feeding the poor people, the potato famine in Ireland and so forth. But vanilla and beans, pineapples, and squash, among others. In any event, this concludes a short little video on some of the animals and plants that made from America back to Europe.